What is up, everybody? This is Jamie Shaw with the Absolute Basketball Experience. Here is the coach's corner that we had with Andre Gray that he went over recruiting. We had a great field. We had, I think, 114 people registered into it. It was very interactive. He did his whole spiel. We went through a question and answer. Then he took questions from the field. We had a host of Division I college coaches, Division II head coaches, Division III coaches, AAU high school coaches. Everybody was in there in the format. Everybody asked questions. AAU coaches, the whole deal. It was a great experience. Andre did awesome. Before we get into it, though, I ask that you please subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you click the bell and the thumbs up for the channel. Also, if you enjoy what Andre is saying, please share it across your platforms. It's very informative, very good information. We will be doing these every Tuesday and Thursday. Every Tuesday is going to be at 10:30 a.m. Next Tuesday coming up is going to be Chuck Martin of the University of South Carolina, 10:30 a.m. Next Thursday is going to be J.D. Byers of VCU at 2 p.m. 10:30 on Tuesday, 2 o'clock p.m. on Thursdays every week. So make sure you check it out. Make sure you check my Twitter feed at JamieShaw5 for the invitations and all that kind of stuff to pre-register. But without further ado, here is the Coach's Corner with Andre Gray of University of North Carolina at Greensboro. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to the Absolute Basketball Experience with Jamie Shaw.
That's good. So when you go out onto the thing, how do you narrow down even more so? I mean, you say that still leaves a broad range of kids. How do you narrow down more so as to things that you don't like within players? You personally, what don't you like? What do you see? I mean, you're in back gyms and stuff. What do you see a player and you don't like about him?
It's good. It's kind of funny. And people that know me know it's silly. Like I don't like bullies. I want you to play and be a dog. I try to watch guys as many times as I can. The kids that flex at people who's they know they're superior are and then you watch them play against somebody that's so-called better than them and they quiet and running. That always bothers me. The fake dogs, I always say. I actually like to watch the kids when they're not on the court or when they don't have the ball, the things that they're doing then, are they engaged? Guys that go to the end of the bench is a turn off for me. Guys that don't talk to their coach as they come off the floor is a turn off to me personally. Guys who are always looking in the stands and looking to the sidelines is a turn off to me. But that's stuff that's not basketball related. Basketball stuff, it's my job as an assistant coach is to find the guy that could play for the head coach I'm working for. So it's not always like, if it's up to me, my whole team be 6'7" long. I won't have a point guard or a true big because I love long wings. But my whole deal is I got to find kids that my head coach could coach, guys that he finds stuff that he finds values in. For example, here at Greensboro, coach, he don't like guys that's not tough. If the kid's not tough and not a basketball junkie, ain't no sense of even bringing him to coach because he's not going to like him. He's not going to play him. The relationship going to get sour. So, and that stuff as assistants we have to learn. And you only learn that with time with the guys. But make sure you're recruiting guys for your head coach, not necessarily for yourself.
And then let's talk about a little bit about the organization of that. Obviously, you cast a wide net. The more that you win, which you guys have done at Greensboro, the more opportunities you have to get players. How do you organize your recruiting board and your recruiting trips and just the organization of keeping on top of things?
Well, over here, we actually have a big board at all times. Because of our success, to go back, piggyback off your statement, we've been able to sign a lot of guys early. We've been able to, like, coach, we won't offer a kid unless we have a plan for him. So we don't throw out a ton of offers to different guys. Coach want to be able to, when we talk to a recruit, tell him exactly where he fits into our program. We don't, we recruit to our system and to our style of play. I've been places where we just try to get the best player available. And there's nothing wrong with either one, but the system here is that we try to recruit to our system first. Can they play our 1-2 defense? Can they move without the ball offensively? Are they guys that clog the lane? We don't really care about the specifics of shooting and passing and dribbling. We feel like our player development stuff is huge here. So we can help them get better players, but the bases are, can they play our defense the way that we want to play it? Can they run our offense the way we want to run it? And like I said, every head coach I've been with has been different.
Absolutely. And when it comes to you yourself finding players, um, you're off the beaten path. You yourself, you're not afraid to go into a small town or a back gym or something and find players and stuff. What would you say the advantages are of that, of going out and shaking all the bushes?
I think in my career, again, you just hit on it a little bit. That's kind of how I made my reputation. When I was at Western Carolina, for example, we had a kid score 2,000 points and didn't have a Division I offer. Like he actually paid to come to Western Carolina while I was there. And I've never been afraid to trust what I see. I look at rankings and stuff from different organizations, including your old one, but I could care less what you rank a guy. I could care less what they rank a guy. Usually I use those lists for more what school kids go to. Like if I don't know where a kid is from, hey, that kid goes to that school, I could pull up the schedule and check them out. But I don't care about national lists at all. It actually is more of a hindrance to me because, again, when I came up in this business, we didn't have those lists. You just had the local newspaper. You look at what guys average stats and rebounds, and you go try to find those guys. So that's the way I've always recruited, and I've had so much success doing it that way. I don't care where kids come from. You can't put stereotypes on kids. I remember when I first got in the business, one of my mentors, who was a really well-known coach in the state, I had the conversation to him about Eastern 95. Like coach, it's some really good players down there. Why nobody don't come Eastern 95? Look at players. I wasn't one of them now, but there's some really good players down there. He said coaches don't go Eastern 95 because players in that area don't have grades. They won't stay in school. And I always try to use that to my advantage moving forward. Like when I talk to players Eastern 95. I'm like, hey man, this is what the perception of you guys are. So when you're dealing with coaches and things of that nature, make sure you're putting forward the image that you're somebody that's committed to doing it.
And then also too, talking to all the younger coaches here and all that kind of stuff. How important is it in recruiting and scout to trust your own eye when it comes to talent?
I think it's number one. It's number one. And again, I just speak from personal experiences. I can't engage someone I'm not personally feeling. So if I think you could play, I'm gonna do everything I can to get you. If I don't, there's nothing that can change my opinion of you. I don't care who else think you could play. But at the same time, we all be in situations like, for instance, our head coach might like a guy more than we like him. We think the kid sucks, the head coach think he's really good. In those situations, we gotta just do what our job. You gotta do the best job you can to get that player in the fold. But for the most part, I like to recruit the guys that I like. Like if I like talking to you, like dealing with you, I'm gonna try to recruit
you. Yeah. Shifting a little bit toward the high school and the recruiting side of things, what are some things that players that are trying to get recruited, what are some things that they can do to stand out among the crowd?
I think like, especially now with the technology age, these guys got all these access to making videos and highlight tapes and things of that nature. So they know that. And I didn't want to spend this time talking about stuff that they already know. My advice is, and I get a lot of them, people send them to me. I was like, whatever you're supposed to be marketing yourself as, make sure that's the meat of your video. And that's just for me personally. If you're going to send me a video saying you're a knockdown shooter, I don't want to see you blocking no doggone shots and driving to I want to see you shoot. And then if I like what you do, if I like what your shot look like, then I watch this other stuff. But it kind of drives me crazy. Like you get a clip of it's a pass first point guard. And he don't pass the ball. It's a whole clip of him making shots. I was like, how you gonna tell me you're a pass first point guard? So I was like, well, that's always been like, make sure your videos match what you are. And not saying your game can't grow and you can't develop other things, but most of the time when I'm watching a video that somebody sent me, especially if I have something particular I need for my program, I want to see that skill first. Like if I'm looking for an all-around guy, that's what I tell you I'm looking for. So don't send me a tape of your all-around game. I tell you I'm looking for a shooter. Then if you catch my interest, and then I ask for full games and things of that nature, so I can see everything.
And then going into everything, you touched on social media a little bit. It's evolved so much over the last while. What are some things that kids can do positively to help promote themselves, to help themselves get recruited using social media?
The first thing I say, make sure you use your name. Make sure we can find you. Because again, I look for those guys. Everybody, I'm pretty active on social media. Make sure you're using your real name when you make an account. I say watch what you putting out there. It's not always what you say. It's the likes and retweets that sometimes may offend people. Watch your language on there. As much as you can, try to pin the video of yourself playing. When I add a recruit, I always watch like the ones that have a video pin. I always watch their clips and stuff that they have pinned. So try to be a little highlight on there as well. And just and engage folks. Like the way this, like I said, this generation, every generation is different. The way this generation works is so much social media involved. Like some of these guys won't talk to you on the phone, but they message you in your Twitter box all the time. And I don't have no problem with that, but that's the reality. So try to engage as much as you can.
And in talking, I guess, too, with these coaches and all that kind of stuff, what should high school AAU coaches be doing to help promote their kids? And what are some things that they can be doing to help get them in good situations to be seen?
I think I just hit on kind of the same things I just said with the players. As much video as you could get to us coaches, it helps. Everybody don't watch as much as myself. I kind of don't have no life, so I watch probably more than most people. I watch it kind of for fun sometimes. I watch the bad kids too, just so I can laugh at them. But just make videos for your kids. Hit coaches, understand the timing of our busy seasons. Like, don't hit coaches with a bunch of film during their conference tournaments. More than likely, the guys ain't gonna watch it could be focused on teams then. I say try to find out downtimes and make yourself known. Be careful. Make sure you get the school names right. And make sure you get the coaches' names right. There's nothing more irritating than somebody sends you a link on a kid and they call you the wrong school, or they say it to a coach that's on a different staff, and you know who they are because we all are friends in this business. So just be mindful of that stuff. I'll say if you're doing videos, do some full games, but also do a highlight tape with it. Nobody worth their weight in salt going to sign a kid based off a highlight tape. But it's always good to kind of get a feel the first 15, 20 seconds of what you may be expecting.
So you say that, you know, if you're touting yourself as a shooter or whatever, like what is a good highlight? Because it sounds like highlight tapes are actually very important that coaches go by and all that kind of stuff. What do you want to see on those highlight tapes?
Again, and it's just me. Everybody's different, right? I like the first 15, 20 seconds to grab me. And I want to see what I'm looking for. And that sounds simple and basic, but I don't know any better way to say it. Like, I don't want to see a clip. I got a clip of a kid here recently. It was a couple of days ago. One of my buddies, like, he had a kid at his school, wanted to try to play college basketball, but I watched the film. And so, you know, it's Corona. I ain't got nothing else to do. So I opened up the clip, and he's like, yeah, this kid is a shooter. Like, that's why I use this as an example. And his first clip was him blocking the shot. The next clip was him getting the offensive rebound. The third clip was him driving and maybe shooting a layup. And then finally he shot the ball like 4 or 5 clips in. And I was like, God, man, that's such a waste of time, in my opinion, because first of all, you're showing how athletic you are with the clip stuff that you're showing me. Like, the stuff that you're doing in that clip is not going to translate to this level. So why even wasting your time showing me that stuff? And secondly, like, you're supposed to be a shooter. I want to see you shoot. Like, if one thing I can't stand, and even live recruiting, these coach call you about a kid, or a kid say that hey, coach, I got the score for you. And then you go watch a game and my dude take 5 shots. Like, how are you a scorer? You took 5 shots. Like, if you're a shooter, shoot. If you're a scorer, score. Like, I don't care about the other stuff, because if that's what I'm looking for, let me decide if you're good enough in that role.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and even now, during this coronavirus time, everybody's in quarantine. This weekend's supposed to be a live period weekend, and we're not able to have it and all that kind of stuff. What are some things that coaches or even players can be doing now to still stay relevant?
Get your stuff out there, man. Try to talk to as many coaches as possible. One thing I think in this recruiting process, and I have this conversation with my friends all the time, a lot of people don't realize how much us coaches talk to each other. And we always talk it anyway, but especially now. Like, even if it's a player that I'm not necessarily interested in or can't need, I'll pass them on to one of my buddies who might have a need in that sense. So reach out to coaches, talk to them, try to put yourself in front of as many people as possible. It could be a good thing and a bad thing. Don't underestimate our relationships, because I've seen that happen a lot with some kids. They because of the school they're not interested in per se, they, I ain't gonna use the word big time, but they be rude to them or don't respond to them. But you never know who that person know. His best friend might be the person at your dream school, especially if it's a local college. Like if I were to go out of my area and recruit, I tend to reach out to the guys that's in that area about the kid, and like, why, and just try to pick their brain, especially if I have a friend in that area. So make sure you treating everybody with respect, even if you're not super interested at the moment. You may come back around to you. Like in my storytelling mode, I always use another example, of Western Carolina kid that I wound up signing. I wanted him bad. Coach loved him. I loved him. He was kind of lukewarm, kind of interested in us, but he wouldn't respond to our calls, and I wouldn't give up. This is why I could be a pain in the neck sometimes in recruiting. I wouldn't give up. I kept on hitting them. I got him to respond. I got to his decision maker, and that guy kept me involved while the kid was going through his process. It got to the point the kid didn't even show up for his own in-home visit. He didn't come. He didn't show up when we did it in-home with him. But I just stayed on him. And eventually, he wasn't interested in my school initially because he thought he was going to a higher level university. By the time his recruiting settled, he wound up getting recruited by the league I was in. And once it all settled in, he realized our situation was as good as any. 4 years later, the kid scored 1,700 points at that school. I think it was all league 3 times. So just be careful how you treat guys like during the process, because you never know where they're going to go. And you never know where your recruiting going to go either. So that'd be my advice on that.
Good deal. So I guess everybody, I'm going to unmute everybody here. If you have any questions for Coach Gray, speak up, and we'll try to go as similar as possible with one by one. But go ahead and if you have any questions for Coach Gray, go ahead and let it fly. Anybody?
Oh, off a highway.
Coach Gray, I got one question for you.
All right, so I'm gonna send 3 things.
How often do you call versus text recruit or whatever? How often do you do that, or just what's your most important form of communication to recruits?
Again, Bays, what I try to do, as fast as I can figure it out, I try to figure out what the kid is into.
Okay.
Everybody is different.
Okay.
Experiences. Some guys don't like being on the, and it's something that sometimes as young coaches, and I had to get to this point, Bays. Like, I remember, like, when a kid would call me back right away, I'd be like, oh, this kid is a dirt. Like, he's a bad person. I had to learn that some kids just not comfortable talking to us coaches on the phone.
Okay.
Some of them are more comfortable because they could fix their words. They're scared they're going to say the wrong thing to us in conversation. And in the text platform, if they type the wrong thing, and they can come back and fix it before they send it to us. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I never take that personal when guys not comfortable being on the phone much. More important to me is like trying to figure out the kids' decision-making tree. Everybody have like people that they use to help them in making a decision. Almost all of them want to tell you it's their decision, but that's not true. Like, I'm grown. I don't make my own decisions. I got bounced up to my wife. So of course they bounce their stuff to somebody.
Yeah.
So I try to figure out who are they talking to? Who are the people that they listen to?
Gotcha.
And a lot of times once you touch those people, they will let you know what kind of kid it is. Like, he's not comfortable talking to you yet. Sometimes he start off slow, but he won't once he get comfortable with you. Or he might not be comfortable at all. And that don't mean that he's rude or whatever. You just got to figure out, each kid is different.
Gotcha.
I used to do, like, when I was younger, like, to help organize myself. Now I could do it kind of in my head, Bays, to be honest.
Yeah.
I used to keep a sheet of how many kids I hit each day. I used to try to do a 35 hit list and it wasn't always all recruits.
Mm-hmm.
Like 20 recruits, 5 coaches, five high school coaches, 5 AAU coaches, then 5 people around the program. And sometimes in that list of recruits, there would be parents and things like that in that list as well.
Gotcha.
But now I kind of organize my mind. I have it broken up in my head by kind of like a region. And I work my way across my recruiting areas. So I call all my Eastern North Carolina kids in one segment, and I call my Western North Carolina kids in one segment. When I go out of state, on Wednesdays, I might call my Georgia kids. I might call my South Carolina kids on Thursdays. But that's the way it helps me, because it makes sure I'm hitting everybody I want to hit. But you got to come up with your own system that makes sense for you.
All right.
But the thing is, like I said, don't take it personal, like if a guy not picking up his phone every day. But like I told you a little while ago, I decided the kid want to be in the whole league kid. Like I said, he ran. He was at home. So and he was a great kid, phenomenal kid, one of my favorites all time. He actually tried to send me his brother years later. So.
All right. It's good to know. Appreciate that, Coach.
I have a question.
Yep. Anybody else got any questions? Come on, guys.
I got a question, Coach. This Evans Davis, Alcorn State, man. What's going on? You was talking about the kid that you just wouldn't give up on, and that he didn't show up to the home visit, but you just didn't give up on. Is there one thing that you just say, I'm done? That even if you like the kid, even if you think the kid can help, I know there's levels to it. If you really think this kid can help, you'll go for one. You'll put up with one bad guy, or I ain't gonna even say a bad guy. But is there one attribute or one thing that will turn you off on a kid?
Something to turn me off, like, it sounds silly. It might sound silly to some, but I can't stand dudes that's disrespectful to women. So if I see any kind of like negative reaction towards the moms, grandmas, girlfriends, sisters, that's a huge red flag to me. Personally, and it might sound crazy, but that's one of my personal things. I can't stand the guy who's disrespectful to women. So if I see that, if I see a kid yelling at his mom, or I'll scratch him right away. Other than that, it all depends on the school, on the head coach. Some guys I think work with kids with a little bit of edge better than others. I've had some coaches I worked with who couldn't handle a guy that was late for class on occasion, But I've had coaches who could deal with those type of kids as well. So it kind of depends on the head coach I'm working with. I was never a perfect person. I made a ton of mistakes. I've done some things in life. I wasn't necessarily a bad person. So I always try to get the
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Huh?
Hey, Coach Gray.
What's going on, fam?
How important is to highlight music?
You must follow me on Twitter. And again, I think like for the kids, don't pick person, like try to keep it out of on videos. I personally don't care, but I know it's some people that will think. I'll say like, and I just use it for, I always tell stories. Because like, I ain't got my life. I see her on my house, looking at these videos. And sometimes my wife would hit me. That kid good. You hear the music playing, it'd be a terrible song, but she know I can't stand terrible music. She said, okay, it must be pretty good that you're still sitting there listening to. Me personally, I was like, just trying to make sure whatever you're playing, they can reach a higher platform, people that might listen to it. And what I mean by that is, when I get a highlight video of a kid I like, I would send it to our tech, to our whole staff. So even though I might think it's great, because it's okay to curse, you don't know who you may have been within those staffs. So try to be comfortable. Use instrumentals if there's a song you love that much.
All right, I have some
Hey, Coach, I got a question.
over now.
JCC, Johnson Community College. Just wanted to talk about the best times and the best ways to reach out to guys at coaching staff. So what's the best way to kind of establish scenarios where you can come and, kind of watch practices and kind of pick you guys' brains? What are the best times to actually try to do that?
Yeah, I think that's fluid. I think, and that's again, that depends on the program. Again, I talk about Greensboro because that's where I'm at currently. Like everything we do is open to the public. So anytime you reach out to one of us and you say you want to come watch a practice, want to watch a workout, like we tell you, come on. I know some schools are a little bit more secretive in what they do. So that just kind of depends on the staff. Try to build as many relationships with everybody within the staff, not only just the assistant coaches, but maybe the operations guys, the GAs. Because sometimes guys they don't be big time you, but sometimes we get so busy with other
All right,
responsibilities.
so we're gonna take kids B6, B, Q5, the classic
When I
white
say-
and transfer it over.
I wouldn't say it's a good or bad time. Just whenever it hits your heart, do it. And I suggest anybody who's trying to coach kids, who's trying to move up in the profession, like go watch as many practices as you possibly can, because it's going to give you a better perspective on how to help kids. It's amazing how sometimes.
Okay, so what about the other one that's on his account?
Can you guys get their friends? It's amazing that sometimes guys have come watch a team
Oh,
and they didn't realize the level of play at that school. Because sometimes, like you watch games on TV, and they'll give you a real perspective of how big and how athletic some of these guys are. So, if you're going to be helping kids make decisions on where they go to college, I say go watch as many doggone practices and games as you can in person. I say it like this, for example. Like I remember the first time I saw a real NBA guy, like a real true life NBA wing. And I was like freaking out at how big this dude was. Like, oh, this dude is a two, and he's a legit 6'7", 215, 220. And now I'm sitting here trying to tell kids when I was a high school coach they could play in the NBA as a wing. And then you see these guys, like it was unrealistic. So I think the more you can expose yourself to colleges, you get a better feel for what level to push your kids to and what schools to call when you have a guy that get recruited. But I don't think this is good at this particular time. A program that are working year round anyway.
Hey, coach.
Oh, great.
What's up, TP?
I got a question. I work with you every day, so I know you pretty well. But for you, from being off with you, you're really genuine dude to the people you recruit, and of course, like you say, you've been doing it for 20 plus years. At what point? Because of course, I'm pretty sure you can admit that you didn't have it all figured out when you first started, like when you was my age and getting into it. At what point did you figure out and admit to yourself that you were enough, that the real person who you was enough to recruit these kids, and they got to accept that, and they're gonna know you genuine about it, and you're not trying to sugarcoat things or be one way with one kid or be one way with another kid. Because I've been around you, you're pretty much straight cut with all kids, and kids get to that with you. But at what point did you realize, like, well, what happened in your life that made you realize you were enough, like you were good enough to get it done?
It's funny, TP. My path it's been a process. We all have peaks and valleys. When I got into the business, I don't come from a coaching tree. I don't come from no big playing background. So I was learning everything on the fly. I was just learning by observing. When I first got in, nobody knew who I was, but everybody knew they'd see me around everywhere. And I have a pretty good feel for who I am as a person. So I would just start watching guys who I thought I acted like. I'm a little bit of a goofball, but I also could be kind of quiet when I get out in public. So I just started watching the guys that was kind of like me on the road. Like the guys that's always moving and shaking and joking and giving high fives, like that ain't me. So I ain't trying to emulate those guys. And I was starting to sit down and try to pick the brains of those guys that I thought was like me. And this business don't go on as much. We all kind of got personal. And now I ask questions about their approaches. And when one of the things that jumped out to me is a guy named Jerry Dunn. Some of you guys might know who Jerry was. He's a North Carolina guy. He's at Penn State at that time. And he's like, Andre, be true to yourself because people are going to read the phony. And I had a moment myself in this career where I kind of lost sight of myself. I got caught up in trying to chase levels. I got caught up in trying to chase rankings, kids' rankings, just so it made me look better as an assistant. But also I probably got fired because of that. You know what I'm saying? Because the kids wasn't good enough for the system. He couldn't coach those kids, and so I had to come back to where I started, and it's all about, to me, just the general relationship. I always say I'm not going to intentionally piss somebody's kid in a bad situation. That's like I'm not going to do it on purpose. Now, do everything work out? No. But I'm not going to intentionally put a kid in a bad situation. So if I know, if once I dig in and figure out who a kid is and who his background is, what he stands for, once I figure out if all that stuff matches with the head coach and the program in the school, and then I'll pursue them. If it's a kid that I don't think it matches, I won't even mess with, because I don't want to intentionally try to hurt somebody young. But TP, it's been an evolution, and I think everybody in this room have that evolution in life. But mine is just, this is who I am. I'm open dude. I'm an emotional dude, and I just like helping people. I love the game, and I love watching people grow. I get more excited off of watching people grow than I do actually probably watching the games. So.
Andre, we had a question from Byron Taylor. He wrote in. He asked, "How have you stayed relevant and kept a job at the collegiate level?"
Relevant? Oh man, am I relevant? I don't consider myself relevant. Oh, but yeah, but I again with the corona, it's been kind of the positive that come from me is that I've been able to slow down and do some self-reflection. You know, typically even today, I probably would have had an official visit or something on campus, so I wouldn't be able to do this type of deal if it was a normal year, or I've been preparing for recruiting. But one thing I've learned is like I always try to make real relationships. I won't deal with somebody I don't like. I'll say I'm probably the worst person in the world at getting jobs, and somehow I worked for 20-some years. I hate the whole business of getting the job. And so I really don't know. I think just being who I am, people that know me and deal with me, they figure out that I'm consistent. Like whether it's a high school coach, an AAU coach, or a college coach, if you have a player, you don't have a player, you have a job or don't have a job, everybody can, I think, see me the same way. I'm the same way to everybody, regardless of what your role is, where you come from, what your background is, how many points you average. And I think that's the one thing that why people keep on giving me opportunities is because I'm consistent. You know what you're going to get with me. I'm consistent. I'm going to work hard.
Had another write-in coming in from Rodney Cozart. He had a two-part question. You touched on this a little bit, but he asked, I would like to know the preferred method for coaches to be contacted by kids and their coaches.
College guys, is a high school coach asking like which way to reach out to us?
Yeah. A high school coach asking what the preferred method is to be contacted about kids.
I think it's all relative to who you're reaching out to. Again, I like it. I like people to reach out to me. Like I'll show you my Twitter inbox. I got probably 30 on messages a day from kids or coaches want me to watch videos and text, call, email. The one thing to be mindful of, like people who are busy, like they're not always just brushing you off because they're not responding quickly. One thing I always tell parents in particular, I love when a kid takes the initiative to send me a video rather than a parent, because that means the kid is a little bit more aggressive and more in tune with what's going on in his own career. I like that personally from a kid. Coaches sending videos, I think, is huge. I'd rather get one from a coach than a parent, as well, because everybody think they're the best thing ever. So just reach out any platform you have, email, Twitter, Instagram, just reach out. And some guys don't respond, don't take it personal. Just move on, and the right school gonna find the kid at the end of the day.
And then a follow-up question he had, the easiest way to get my high school aged players noticed by coaches, especially in state. His D1 kid's fine, but he's worried about the D1, D2 borderline kids. What's the best way to get them noticed by coaches in state?
In the state of North Carolina?
Yeah. He's from the state of North Carolina, so I guess he's asking about that.
Yeah, it's so many different platforms out there now, with the camps and exposure camps, elite camps as well. Before all this stuff happened, all the mid-major schools, for the most part, did elite camps and day camps. And a lot of the lower-level schools go recruit at those camps. So don't be, sometimes, this old street phrase, take money to make money sometimes. So if you got to pay to go to a camp to get seen, it's necessary. You know, like everybody, it's so hard to see everybody as a college coach because we just don't have time to watch them play during the season. So some of the spring ball, without the recruiting of the AAU this spring, I ain't gonna say gonna hurt kids because kids don't wind up where they're supposed to be anyway. But as much as you can, try to get as much video in front of the kids and try to get them in front of as many eyes as possible. Because again, we all have friends at different levels. So if you send a kid to my elite camp, I may call Coach Bazemore, hey, this kid came to my camp that can really, really play. So just try to get them seen by as many people as possible.
And then Tyman wrote in, what would your advice be to a senior in college basketball player who's looking as a grad assistant job?
My advice to him is he's a little late. No, but I'm just joking because I started my career late. If he's known for a while, like I'm gonna go backwards first. If he's known when he's a freshman or junior, he wanted to get into coaching, he should have started working on those relationships then. Now, as a senior, because he hasn't, do the same thing you would do if you were trying to get recruited. Reach out to folks. I would tell some of the guys, like, reach out. A lot of times people don't realize the network of, even though you went to play at one college, reach out to the other people that recruited you. Even if you didn't choose their school, hopefully you handle it well when you tell them you wasn't coming. But sometimes you can use those guys as resources as well. But the business, the way it's set up now, it's extremely hard to get hired without knowing somebody within the organization. So try to find somebody that knows coaches that have positions and make it known that you want to get into coaching. And start with his staff that he's at now. Start with those coaches first.
Gene Evans asked, if you receive info on a player and he's not a fit for your program, do you and other coaches send it also to programs?
I do personally. I love to. I like to help kids. I like to help the kids. If somebody come across that I think could play, and I'm talking to one of my buddies that have a need for them, I pass them all the time. I have no problem doing that. I think most coaches do. And again, and that's why I keep on going back to, like, sometimes the recruits and parents underestimate how much us coaches talk to each other. We talk to each other a ton. And so we all know what we're recruiting, and especially if it's not a direct rival, we have no problem helping each other out with players at all levels.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
Hey.
I got one here, Coach Gray. Tony Dunbar from Pine Lake. Hey, when you're sending out the emails as a high school coach, is there like a direct point of contact that you like? Like, do I send it to Coach Miller, you, Coach Roberts when he was there, just the whole staff, or the director of operations, or what's your advice on that? Or
I
just
think
everybody?
every staff is built different. I can tell you off the muscle, like 99.9% of the head coaches ain't watching them. Don't waste your time sending it to the head coach because he's just going to forward it down to somebody else anyway. I would start with the assistant coaches. Typically, they wind up in the hand of whoever's supposed to be the recruiting coordinator of the staff. Some staffs handle it different. I know some years I've been on staff, my coordinator recruiting, I send it all to the operations guy first, and he would watch them and kind of read through them for me, the ones that I didn't have direct contacts with. So it just kind of depends on staff. I would start with the assistant coaches, and one of them would know where to direct it from there. But send it to a head coach, in my opinion, unless you have a direct relationship with the head coach, he's probably not even going to watch it. He won't even open the email. He will watch it once one of the assistants present it to him. But stay away from those head coaches with those things would be my advice.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
All right, I'm good, fam. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. DeAndre Bush, coach at Cypress Creek High School, and I'm the head director of the Florida Suns.
Oh, cool.
And so my question more so would be, what would you say to a senior, particularly this year, who has not seen his recruitment necessarily pick up too well? Has kind of been in contact probably with about mid-majors to D2, but hasn't really gotten any offers officially on the table yet. What would you kind of advise him to do?
It's kind of two-part because he don't have any offers right now. So you can't tell him to marry who loves you because he don't have nobody who offered him yet. The whole thing, everything in life goes in cycles. Right now, as college coaches and the guys in the room that college coaches probably attest, we're all infatuated with the transfer market right now. So the first thing we do in the morning, we get up, we log into the transfer portal and see who's available. But eventually it's going to wear out. It's going to stop. The portal going to start slowing down, and we're still going to have holes in our rosters. And then we're going to come back to where to the high school guys, the junior college guys, or whoever that's available. So don't think that coaches ain't coming back to those guys, because they are, because we still going to have needs from that standpoint. The second thing I would say to them is, don't worry about running somebody else's race. There's no magic date that says you got to have an offer today or tomorrow or the next week. I know sometimes those kids get frustrated with, oh man, signing day and nobody want me. But again, I tell stories all the time. I got some really good players in August at some of the schools I've been at. So make sure he don't get frustrated with the process because it's moving slow. Especially this year, it's going to move slower than normal because you don't have the unsigned senior events and things like that to play in. So I was like, keep trying to get his name out there, keep getting footage out there of him, and just try to keep him as calm as possible about running his own race. Don't get caught up in what his friends got going on. But the schools that's hitting him, I would say like that's the level he probably need to focus on, because it's probably not going to be a significant jump in his recruitment anyway. So just really focus on those schools, and if it's some schools that he like, now's a good time, especially if he's home. Like just do some research on some schools, like see what kind of what kind of school fits the profile that he's looking for as far as just the university, and not even just the program. And again, I like to tell stories, but I remember, like guys, I hope I don't offend nobody. I remember growing up, I was a big Georgetown fan. And I was a Georgetown fan because they had Coach Thompson, Big Blacktail up there coaching, and had Patrick Ewing, all these guys. I had no clue what Georgetown was about. And I remember when I was an adult, the first time I saw that university, I was like, I wouldn't want to go to school here. It's not, like the only team that people that looked like me was the basketball team. So make sure right now is a good time for him to do research on what kind of school he wants. Like as far as not necessarily to say they want him, but do you want to be in the country? Do you want to be in the city setting? Do you want to play in a conference that plays slow? Do you want to play in the conference that plays fast? Try to watch as many games of different teams that he can. Try to find people who have rosters that built of people that's like him. Us coaches, typically head coaches especially, is not going to change what they do for the most part for the one kid. So if he's a big, strong guard and he likes a school that plays little, small, fast little guards, he might not be a fit for that school. So Anderson's wasting no time in that. So find schools that kind of fit his playing style, his background. And this is a great time to do it because he's got nothing but time. So when opportunities do arise, he already has done some legwork on the front end.
Thank you. And I had one follow-up question. So with that, what would be an appropriate, I guess, timeline then for him to kind of make a decision? Because he does have some like JUCO opportunities. What would you say would be a fair assessment if he does have those smaller D1s and D2s kind of, but once again, no offers on the table, just constantly in contact?
Yeah, I'll just make it, if you have some schools that you're really interested in, I'll make it known to those schools that you're interested if he is. Some guys may not like what I say with this next statement, but there's nothing binding a junior college kid to stop him from signing with NCAA school. So say he have a really good offer at a junior college down in the area that wants him, and he want to take the offer there just to make sure he has something. If a 4-year school come along a month from now and want him, he still could go there too. Like there's no binding letter that stops him from pursuing the NCAA school. That makes sense. And most schools, the junior college coach probably would support it anyway, because that's their job to help get their guys on to the next level. So if he want to just make sure he got free education and he got a good opportunity right now, I say take it. And then if something new come aboard, you talk about it, the family, if it makes sense, do it. If it don't, just go with what you got.
Anybody else got anything?
Yeah, Coach Gray.
Okay.
Quick question for you. You work for a lot of head coaches, especially in the state. What are some things that, you've seen as far as, recruiting styles and systems from those head coaches that have kind of, translated to success, or some things that you've seen that, might have led to, those teams not doing quite as well?
They ain't trying to set me up.
Nope.
No, I've had some really good coaches. Like I can't lie, I've been blessed. I've been with like some phenomenal dudes. I'll start here and go backwards. I want to talk about everybody. I'll start here at Greensboro and I'll go back a little bit. What I think make Wes Miller really good and this program really good here is that we put together a clear plan for who we go after. And we try to, when the guys come see us for the first time or come meet with us during official business, unofficial business, we tell them, hey, this is on our roster. This is where we see your role. This is how we play. This is where we see you playing in our role. So when guys come in here, we don't have as much kickback on our coach told me I was going to be the fifth guard, fourth guard, best case scenario. And so we don't have a lot of like dissension that way because we try to be so honest on the front end. The programs that I've been a part of that struggled a little bit, I think the head coach didn't have a clear, or I guess the head coach, our staff didn't have a clear identity of our style of play. So we were just all over the place with the type of players that we were recruiting, and the parts didn't necessarily fit. So I think the most important thing is like for the head coach, and of course I want to be like you one day, Dan. I want to be a head coach too. I think the guys that's most comfortable in their own skin are the ones that tend to do the best in my experiences. And that don't mean that they have to be the guys that hit the bushes per se. Because like I said, I was with Larry Hunter, who is probably the closest guy I've been with to Wes Miller as far as like their approach. There's everyday guys, grounded out guys, getting your face guys. But example is Wes is ultra involved with recruiting. Like he's like he wanted to see the videos and slideshows. And well, Larry Hunter, my last couple of years could care less. Like I found out my last two classes up there, I don't think he's seen any guys play outside of maybe a 5-minute clip I put on his desk. So I think the comfort of the head coach and what he is, what kind of kid he could coach. And then once your assistants understand what you could coach and what you could deal with, that's how it's going to work. That's how the guys will be successful. Because it all have to match. If an assistant with one kind of guy, that's not going to work anyway. If it's a guy that you may be a screamer and the assistant love a guy that don't do well with screamers, like it ain't going to work. So the better you know yourself, I think it's going to be best. Is the best approach. And the guys that I've been with who knew what they were as coaches had the better recruiting plans, and I think the players played better for those guys.
Coach Evans Davis here again. I want to ask you: can you define your role? Don't hate on me. Can you define your role as a recruit coordinator? Now, is it you tell people to do? You review everything, or you delegate? How does that? How has that differentiated in your stops?
Every staff has been different for me. I've been a part of a couple of staffs actually, where I was kind of the oldest guy, and I had two guys with me that didn't have a lot of on-the-road experience, didn't have their own recruiting connections. In that situation, I would more point those guys in the directions of who to recruit. I've been on staffs where all of us was kind of equal. I was kind of the younger guy. Most of the time, the older guys don't like to dig up rocks. They like to recruit just their kids in the areas. So it was harder to get those guys to go off their own paths, the paths I set for them. So I just kind of just try to keep it all organized. So when the coach get a call on the kid, make sure we have all our bases covered. My main thing here is because, again, our staff here are all kind of equal. We have three of us that do most of our recruiting, and we all have our own relationships prior to coming here. So there's no need of me telling, hey, man, go watch this kid there. What we do, we try to organize and keep track of who all we seeing. And what I try to do, I try to make sure we're not missing anybody in our main baskets. So when Coach Miller is real popular and he get calls and texts all the time by kids, I feel bad when he get a call or text about a kid that we don't know about, especially in our recruiting area. Now, if it's a kid out in California, I could care less. But if it's somebody in our immediate area, I want to make sure we got all that stuff covered, especially Carolina kids and Georgia kids. Like we want to know who those guys are, even if we haven't seen them with our own eyes. That's why I feel like my major role here is just making sure when coach come in, like, hey man, Evan Davis, like who is that down in Georgia? We have some feel for who that is.
Hey, Coach Bates here again. I want to know, So once you start recruiting a kid, or somebody on your staff start recruiting a kid, do all of you guys talk to him? I mean, of course, Wes probably talk to him, but how often does everybody talk to him, or just you as being his recruiter talk to him?
And that's a staff thing, and that's an evolution of a great thing as well. When I was younger, I never felt comfortable having the whole staff talk to a kid, because I didn't always trust what was coming out of their mouth. We all have our own selves, and I was always afraid that somebody else on staff may tell a kid something contrary to what I was telling them. I think in situations where the whole staff talk to players, it got to be a ton of communication within that staff, because you don't want, if a kid get missed messages, that could hurt you in the long run.
Right.
So just make sure, in my opinion, like if you're gonna have the whole staff talk to a kid, I've seen it work.
Mhm.
I've seen it not work. But just make sure y'all have it. If it's gonna be for you, make sure y'all message the same.
Gotcha.
But I've done it both ways. Now that I'm older, I don't really care. I've gotten to the point now where I still can relate to these young guys, but I just don't understand everything they're talking about. When somebody on staff that relate to them better, I don't mind passing it on or having them.
Yeah, okay. So you just pass it on if you can't like relate to them. I got you.
Basically, and, you're so young in the business, like just to be, and whoever on this call on board, you can go if you want. But one thing I've learned, Bay, is like most of these kids, all these kids have a network of people that they trust.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's mom, dad, uncle, cousin, JV coach, high school coach, just because you're not the one talking to the kid doesn't mean that you're not the one who's going to get it done. Because sometimes you might have to take a step back because you and the kid relationship per se may not match as well. And it might be about somebody else on your staff who, for whatever reason, have a better relationship with that kid, who jump with that kid. But the uncle or the dad or the hospital might like deal with you more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where having more than one guy could help, per se. And sometimes you just gotta let your ego go to the side and just do what's best for the team. Because at the end of the day, it's about trying to win games, trying to be successful. And I guarantee you, everybody that's on Davidson's staff, when Steph Curry went there, they recruited Steph Curry on their resume. So it doesn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter like who signed them, who got them, who called them the most. It really does. It's all about trying to win.
Gotcha. Appreciate it, Coach.
No problem.
Hey, Coach Gray, this is Coach Hunt at Davidson Community College.
How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. I had a question about like a high school kid and his team success in high school. How much of an impact of a kid's high school team success go into your recruiting process in terms of him being used to winning, being used to, being held accountable, playing in a system where, he has a good coach? How much of that does that have an impact on your recruiting process of that kid as an individual?
So E. Davis gonna mess with me. I told you guys, I got like 8,000 recruiting rules, and this is actually one of them. It's all me now. The program is so don't say it's UNCG rule, but I don't like losing guards. Guards that lose, I won't message you unless my boss make me. I think the guys got the ball in their hand, impact winning the most. At the high school level in particular, I think if you're a legit college player, if you're skilled enough to be a Division I or college basketball player, you're skilled enough to impact winning or losing. And sometimes with post guys, because the guard's so bad they can't get the ball. But if your guard they got the ball in their hands all the doggone time, so they impact winning or losing more than anybody. So a losing guard, I won't mess with E. One of my rules. I don't like losing guards. With post guys, sometimes I give them a pass based on who they're playing with. But again, that's just a person. That's a Dre Gray. That's not. But here, like our culture is built on winning anyway, so we won't take losers here for the most part anyway.
And that's funny you say that, because I remember one time when I first started coaching, Coach Ridge was actually interested in like 3 kids at one school, but they lost the game we went to, and I'm like, we think they got 3 kids that we want, and they come in and play for us next year, and they can't win a high school game. I'm not sure if we need to still be interested in them. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, I laugh. One of the times I was wrong. I can't say I was wrong because the kid. I remember my first day on staff. I won't even call the school out. I got stories. I see you laughing. I just joined the staff, our first day on the staff. Like, I just signed a little contract, and we go on the road to watch this guard play pickup. And the kid was talented. The kid was real talented. And we got part of the staff, brought back home. And the first thing I said, like, Coach, like, he lost every freaking game. Like, what you think, Dre? I was like, Coach, like, he's good, but he lost every freaking game. Like, how you not win a pickup game? And you like supposed to be a dude. And you got his coaches in there watching you, you know? But he was talented. And we took him. We got fired. He wanted to score 2,000 points, but he never did win. So part of me, I'm like, I feel bad because we got fired and lost. And the kid had a great career individually, but he never won games in college either.
Gotcha. Okay, well, winning games don't help nobody that's in here in this Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Winning don't help nobody.
So I was right at the end of the day. They got to give him, hey, man, that dude, there's something about that dang old dude. You got the ball in his hand, keep on losing, man. Like,
right. Appreciate that.
No problem. Oh, we good?
Anybody got anything else?
Yes, sir. How you doing? My name is Chris Johnson. I'm program director of an AU program in Richmond, Virginia called VA Happy Basketball, and I'm assistant coach at Verona High School in Richmond, Virginia as well.
Yes, sir.
And my question is, from an AAU standpoint, and even from a high school standpoint, is it best from your vantage point in contacting and sending emails about our players, is it best to do it all in one lump sum, or is it best served for the player to send it individually?
That's a good question. Again, I'm just speaking from my own perspective. I have a way for me works. I get those emails from the organization that have like 5 or 6 highlight tapes on one, and I watch all 5 of them. So it doesn't matter for me per se, but I'm sure some guys don't care for all that clutter. I think most guys would rather just see the guys that's at their level per se, rather than going through all those kids. I think the biggest thing for me is not not how much, but the actual content. Like I talked about earlier, I want to, like, if I get a tape, I want to see what the kid's supposed to be.
Right.
And that's more important to me than that. And just be careful, like I said. Just my biggest thing is, like, just make sure you identify who everybody is, class, grades, all that fun stuff, and then make sure you address it cleanly. Like, make sure it's to the right school. To use the coaches' names if you can.
Right.
Make sure you identify that you're the coach that's sending it, rather than like.
Gotcha. Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm. Oh, baby, you have me on for an hour.
We have a very active participant group, which is awesome. You've given some great answers too.
Yeah, we could stop recording. We can have the real talk after this.
Good.
1,001 great recruiting rules. Ready, Bazemore?
Anybody got anything else?
Hey, Coach Gray.
Yes, sir.
This is Art Rich with the Orange High School in Hillsborough, North Carolina.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
How much? I'm doing good. How much is it recruiting a kid in high school who's a system player, or a kid that can very athletic, he's really not a system type kid, but he can just step in anywhere and play?
Oh, you know what? That's a good question. This is a conversation I had recently. Like, one of my personal, just talking about personal rules and personal references. I don't recruit off stats anymore for the reason that you just mentioned. Because you can have a guy that plays for a coach who let him shoot to 30 times a game and average 30 points. And you can have another kid who plays for a system coach who don't get but 10 shots a game and averaging 12 points a game. So I personally don't care about stats as much anymore. I think the biggest thing is just finding a school that fits the kid. If the kid is a system player, air quotes, you might want to make sure the colleges that you're reaching out about them are system programs, because you don't want to be selling a kid that's have to have structure to an organizational program that don't play that way, because it's just going to be something that fails. Again, like just from a personal perspective, for example, when I talk about stats and things of that nature, Like when I go watch a kid play, like say it's a guard who's on an average high school team or above average high school team, if he makes the right play, in my mind, I give him an assist. Whether his teammate make the shot, miss the layup, whatever, I give that kid, in my mind, a mental assist. So my stats that I might have in my head for a kid may not match up with the stat book anyway. So, and then the other part, you asked about athleticism versus system. That just go back to the school that you're recruiting for and the head coach you're recruiting for. Everybody values different things. And I said a little bit earlier, coaches not going to change, no matter what they tell you during the recruiting process, they're not going to change what they are. The head coach is going to be what they are. Like every Roy Williams team, every year he got a little fast point guard. He got Kendall Marshall who could pitch to the head. He got a true back to the basket big. He got an athletic wing that play defense. He got two guards shoot all his shots. He got another big that crashes the glass. Every one of his teams is the same way for 30 years. So for the most part, coaches not going to change what they are. This is some transcendent talent.
Right.
So just make sure when you recommend them to schools, spend some time researching the schools and how they play. Ask the coach to see some games, so you get to make sure it fits what your kid is.
All right, gotcha, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got time for one or two more questions. Anything else they want to jump in with?
Hey, Coach Gray, what would you say the biggest differences are between recruiting at like the Conference USA level and then the lower levels you've been at in terms of like Division II and Division III?
The biggest differences from a player's standpoint, and it won't sound crazy, I don't think there's much difference as far as just natural talent. Sometimes the size of the talent is different, where you have a 5'9" guy who a dynamic core, sometimes at the lower levels, and sometimes that same guy is 6'4", the Conference USA. But as far as the skill set things of that grip, I don't see any difference at all. From a personal perspective, I always recruit the region. Everybody knows me. I'm Dre Gray for a reason. I'm North Carolina. Mr. North Carolina. I always try to start home locally first because it helps budget-wise. So I always try to learn all the guys in the immediate area, make sure I spend the time with all the coaches in the immediate area. I try to pop in on games. Like I go watch random games when I have other days around the town, around the area, because the coaches also help you out and tell you what other good players so my thing has always been trying to start close to home and then branch out. When I go into when I got to some of the higher leagues, when I was in the USA, when I was in the Colonial, I would branch out into teams that's in their leagues. That'd be the areas I recruit second. So, for instance, when I was at Charlotte, I'd dig down to Texas a little bit more. I'd go down to Florida a little bit more because I knew I could tell those parents I was going to give their kids a chance to play at home as well. But that's probably the biggest thing, Justin. When I was at the lower levels, I hardly ever had to go further than the Carolinas and Virginia to get decent players for that level.
Appreciate it.
Been good, son. What's in your head?
Man, I ain't had a haircut in 2 months, so you already know.
Good deal. Well, let's go ahead and wrap things down a little bit. Dre, you got anything you want to close with?
One thing I will say, like to all you guys that's out here, thanks for taking the time to listen to me ramble about nothing. Hopefully, one thing I wanted to try to do with this thing is, I think we all are doing them. We all doing these Zoom meetings and Zoom conferences. I wanted to be as honest and transparent as I could without breaking rules in this thing. So hopefully you picked up something. If you have any questions about anything, if you don't have my number, hit me on Twitter, or my phone number is 910-540-1778. I think Jamie may put it in the comments or something. I'll just type it in the messenger for the guys who don't have my number. That's my cell, so I'm always around that phone number for the guys that need it. And I really enjoy reaching out to coaches, getting to know coaches, having these conversations, because it's all for love of the game. Like, I said the word myself a couple of times. I said the business myself, and that's one word I hate in this business is the word business, because end of the day, this is a game. It's about these kids. It's about the love of basketball. Anywhere I can help to make the game better, I'm gonna do it. And I know I've been around for a long time. I got the big gray beard for a reason. So anywhere I could help give back to the sport who's been so great to me, I'm gonna do it. So you guys need anything, need any help, you have any questions, you want to go offline and chat about something, like feel free to reach out to me whenever. And thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Everybody wanted to remind you, we're going to do these every Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday, 10 a.m., Thursday, 2 p.m. Start promoting the next one that we have next Tuesday. It'll be Chuck at University of South Carolina will be coming on to do some stuff with us. Be promoting that starting probably this weekend. But Andre, you were unbelievable. Your answers were great. Guys love the participation as well. This is all for you guys. It's all informational for everybody here. So, thank you very much for showing. I'm going to stop recording here, and then we can stay on a little bit too if y'all want to talk. Still talk a little bit. So thank y'all.